Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Judith Patterson. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Texas. And today I'm going to show you a couple of projects from the catalog. If you've been watching my videos, you know that once a week I like to hop on and share just a couple of projects that were inspired by Stampin' Up's catalogs, because that's my favorite place to find inspiration. Sometimes I make them as they are, and sometimes I change them up a little bit. And then later in the week I'll hop on and make something that I created and share that with you, so you can make it too. So this week, my stamp set of the week is Celebrate with Tags. It's in the mini catalog. Let's just go ahead and flip over and look at that. And you can find it on page 67 in the mini catalog. This is the 2022 July to December mini catalog, so there's not much time left with this one. The last chance sale list has already been shared, so this set is going to carry over. The tag dies though, so sad, these are retiring. So this is a great stamp set, very versatile, but you're really going to want to have the dies too if you can snag them before they're gone. They're just very versatile and handy, and of course they're perfect with the stamp set. So I'm going to take this tag and just kind of the idea behind the gift bag and make a card out of that one. So I'm changing things up a little bit. I don't have all these little pieces, and I don't have this designer series paper, so I'm going to use something different. And then this card I'm going to show you, or this little tag I'll show you. I made one earlier but decided not to actually put it together in the video. And then this one I'm making pretty much exactly like it is, and I'll show you that as well. So I'm going to start with this one though. So the designer series paper that I decided to go with is the Boughs of Holly designer series paper. I used this one a lot just because I did not purchase a ton of Christmas paper this year. I got a little bit, but I didn't go bananas with it. And I really love these traditional colors. Of course, I have the kindest, it's not the kindest gnomes, the Storybook Gnomes designer series paper, which is a little bit, it has other colors in it besides just the traditional greens and reds. So if I want something kind of non-traditional, I use that, or I use the Celebrate Everything Host set of paper. That is pretty amazing. That is a huge set of paper that's good all year round for all the different occasions that come up. So I'm starting with this tag die. So this is the smaller one. You can either, at this point, well, pop it out of there. Look, I missed. So for some reason today, my plates have been shooting across the room as I use them with this mini dies. So I'm just going to pop this back in here, just like that. Put this plate on it, and then just recut that end out. There we go. I'm not even going to run it all the way through again. I just want the very end. So you can either cut this in half and have two tags, or just fold it over. I'm just going to fold it over. And I was going to let you know also, this Celebration Tags die set is not, it was not created to be used with the mini stamp cut and emboss machine, but there are tricks. So as you can see, I've just used it for this one. This one is longer than the plate, the cutting plates, but I'll show you how to get around that in just a second. And just in case this is the only stamp set cut machine that you have, or if you're traveling or something and just want to take the little one, I'll show you how you can get around that with this particular die cut machine or set. Okay, so I've already cut out my snowflakes, and I went ahead and cut out 4, I'm going to put one on the inside of the card, and the other 3 I'm going to use on the front since I don't have that other little embellishment that they used. And I have just scraps of basic white cardstock, so I'm going to just grab a couple of those. And I'm going to stamp the mittens twice, if I can find my mitten stamp, with Petal Pink ink. I'm going to do one here. Then I'm going to turn that and do one on the other side too. Okay, and then I have the Be Jolly stamp. And I'm going to use the Soft Succulent to stamp that one on basic white. Again, all you need is little scraps. You don't need a whole bunch for this one. Okay, so before I die cut those, I did want to do one more thing with this tag. The one in the catalog has a lot more going on with it, and I really liked that. And I also like to have a little bit of sparkle. So I'm going to take my silicone sheet, and I have my Wink of Stella. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Wink of Stella down here in the corner. Whoa, that was a little bit more than anticipated. When I use Wink of Stella, I almost always use my silicone mat because I am messy with this thing. So I'm just splattering this all over the front of this tag, and I'm doing it pretty heavy coverage here. I really like the slight sparkle that it adds. And I suppose if you didn't want to splatter it, you could even just brush it on and give the whole tag a little bit of sparkle, but I like the little dots of sparkle. Okay, so I'm going to set that to the side. It really dries pretty quickly. Even as humid as it has been here recently, it's still drying really quickly. Okay, so I'm going to pull that Stamp Cut and Emboss machine out again. I'm going to go ahead and use those coordinating dies. The one thing about this celebration tags that I don't love, and it's really silly, and it's fine, I have a workaround, but the longest tag die is too long to fit on my little magnet sheet here. You can get bigger magnet sheets, but the ones that I get, it's just too long. But that's okay because it's perfect for putting gift cards in when you fold it all up. It fits gift cards exactly. Super duper handy. Okay, so one of the things that I don't have is the Natural Finish 7/8 inch ribbon. But what I do have is the Old Olive and Sahara Sand ribbon. So I'm going to be using those. I think this card uses Old Olive ribbon anyway, so I thought, why not just go ahead and use both pieces of ribbon that come in that combo. So I'm actually going to turn that over. So this is a 4" by 5 1/4" piece of craft paper, and like always, you can head on over to my blog, and I'll put a link to this card specifically in the description below this video, and you can head over there to get all of the measurements. You don't have to remember them or write them down or anything. They'll be right there on that blog post. So I'm just using a couple of pieces of tear and tape on the back. So I'm going to put those there. I'm just trying to put them in the center, or actually, I forgot. I'm going to cover those up again, because what I meant to do, y'all, I really do practice these things ahead of time. Oh my word. Okay, so I want these to be a little bit higher up, not a lot, just a little bit. So I'm going to go about 3/4 of an inch up from the middle. And that's where I'm going to put my ribbon. And then the other side I am doing smack dab in the middle. So right there on that 2-inch mark, that's where that goes. Okay, and then easy breezy, pardon my arm, I'm going to take these and wrap one around that way, and then wrap it again going the other way. Then I'm just going to tie a quick bow. Okay, and then I'm going to use a glue dot to attach this. So just right here on the back of that knot, I'm going to stick a dot, turn it around, and I'm just putting that right there in the middle. Then you can trim your ribbon a little bit more, or adjust it, do whatever you need to do. And then I'm going to take that little tag back. I'm going to use liquid glue to attach 3 of these snowflakes to the front of my tag. And the sparkly stuff, the Wink of Stella, is already totally dry. Putting that first one up towards the top, kind of hanging over the edge. And then the second one I'm going to bring to where it's kind of hanging off the edge on the bottom just a smidge. And you really got to hold these down for just a second. Whoops. Give the glue just a minute to stick to it there. Does not take much glue at all. As you can see, I'm just using little bitty dots. And then this one I'm going to overlap a little with both of these. Okay, while I have my glue out, I'm going to put a little bit of glue just on one side of my mitten. And then just position it on the other mitten. Okay, I'm going to use Stampin' Dimensionals now to attach this to my tag. Don't really need one more, but I'm going to use one more. And then my sentiment, so it says be jolly. So behind the jolly, I'm putting just a little bit of glue. And then I'm going to take one of those dimensionals and cut it in half. Save that other half for something else. This half I'm going to put right over here on this end. Then I'm going to place this right over my little mittens. Then I just need to do a tag. So I was playing around with the ribbon earlier, and you may know this. You may be an expert knot tire. I very much am not. But I was kind of playing around with it, and I decided what to do. So I'm going to wrap it around all the way, and then come up through the front here. It worked earlier, so I'm really hoping it's going to work this time too. And pull this up. Oh, right, that goes in the back. I was trying to pull it around to the front. And pull my knot down. Adjust it a little bit, make sure it's tight. And then I have my little knot. So I don't know, that might be a crazy way to tie a knot. Who knows? But it's the way I discovered I like to do it right now. For this card anyway. Alright, so then for my card base, I have cherry cobbler. It's cut 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches and then scored at 4.25 inches, just like most of mine are. I'm going to put these dimensionals all over the back of this thing because I like dimensionals. So just center this on the front of your card base. It's not centered. There we go. Good enough. Okay, and then this one, just flipping over and adding a few more dimensionals. And there's a little bit of a dimensional hanging over here, that's fine too. So I want to center that knot up right about where the bow center is. Make sure that my ends aren't getting stuck down. And ta-da, it's all done. Okay, so now, see if you can, let me see if I can get it to refocus. And see if any of that sparkle is picking up. In person, it's really pretty. I'm not sure how it's coming through online or over the camera. For the inside, this is a scrap that I did not use for a card a week or two ago. So I'm just going to use my liquid glue on this stamped on side. Flip it over and nobody will know except me and you. I'm going to put this right in there, and then I'm going to take that last little snowflake add my glue to it. This Take Your Pick tool is so handy for picking things up. When you get glue all over the tip of it though, like I keep doing, you might want to just wipe it off with a damp cloth or a baby wipe or something every now and then so it doesn't stay super sticky, unless you want it to be sticky. Okay, so there we go. There is our card from the catalog. I forgot to refocus my camera. And then here it is compared to the package that's in the catalog. So even though I didn't have all of the same pieces, I really like the way it turned out. Okay, and then for the next one, we're going to use Pool Party as our tag base. And then I'm using that longer die to cut this out. And like I said, this is not necessarily for the mini stamp cut and emboss machine, but let me show you how to work this one around. Since it's narrow, I can do this. If it was wider, I don't think I'd be able to. Well, I know I wouldn't be able to. Like pretty much any wider at all. There's not a lot of wiggle room with the width here. Alright, so I have the die for the tag, and then inside that, this piece also comes with the celebration tag dies. So I just have it centered up, and I did use my grid paper to help me center that, and then I used just post-it tape. You can use washi tape, whatever you have, any kind of craft tape that will pick up easily. You don't want to rip your cardstock. So I'm just going to run this about half of the way through. So about there. I'm going to bring it back. Then I'm going to take this piece, flip it around, and see, it's all taped together, so everything is still in the right spot. Then I'm just going to run that through again. And again, I'm just going halfway. Okay, maybe a little more than halfway. And then we should have our tag cut. You can save that piece for another project. There you go. It's ready to go. And I love this tag because, like I said before, you can slip a gift card inside this tag. So it makes the perfect little gift to hand to somebody for a thank you or a birthday, Christmas, whatever occasion you have coming up. Graduation in May. Ooh, or there's some graduations in December. There's so many things. So many things. Okay, so I'm going ahead and giving it a good burnish on the score line here with my bone folder. And I'm going to do the same thing with these on the side. I like to go ahead though and fold them with it open. Try to do everything straight. Do the same thing on this side. And then that celebrations paper that I was talking about earlier, not celebrations, celebrate everything paper. This is one of the designs in that. So this piece is 2 inches by 3 inches. Pretty sure. Let's grab that grid paper. Yep, 2 by 3. So I'm putting it right here to cover this hole. And you can use dimensionals if you want to. I want it to be flat. So I'm just going to use a little bit of glue right around the edge. I got a little crazy there. I'm just going to cover all that glue up with my little piece. Perfect. Okay. And so now I'm going to add a little bit more glue on the edges. And then just close that up. Okay, so for this one I'm using 3 colors. I'm using Real Red, Petal Pink again, and Calypso Coral. Okay, so I'm going to start. Again, I'm just using scraps for all of this. I didn't even pick them out ahead of time, so I was having to dig through my scrap basket there. Okay, so I'm going to start with the Petal Pink. I'm going to stamp a Petal Pink balloon. Now, the card in the catalog, the designer used Stampin' Up markers. They used the subtles. So they used the Petal Pink and the Calypso Coral markers to color the balloon and then stamp it, which is totally acceptable. I just really like the way. Do you see what I just did? I stamped both of them with petal pink. That's not what I was going for. I just really like the way these turn out with the ink. So, but I love coloring on my stamps with Stampin' Up markers. I think that is so cool. And you can get some really pretty effects. But since the whole image is the same color, I decided to go with the ink pads. Alright, so then I have Real Red, and I have this Let's Celebrate You upside down stamp. Turn it right way up. Might make a little bit more sense. So I'm stamping it with Real Red. And then time for that die cut machine again. So this time, I'm going to be using the circle and the balloon. Okay, so you can see that pocket there. That's where your gift card would go. I'm going to flip this Let's Celebrate You over. So I know I use a lot of Stampin' Dimensionals. I really like them. I really like how when you have plenty on there, it keeps your entire piece nice and, oh, what's the word? Level. You don't have any sinking spots. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue on this side of the balloon, and then I'm going to overlap that other balloon a little bit. There we go. And if you want to, you can add just a smidge to that too, but I don't think I'm going to. What? That would have been my chance though, if I wanted to add it. Alright, so I'm flipping that over, and I'm going to go ahead and do two. One on this balloon, and one on this balloon. So even if they come apart, which they won't, but even if they were to come apart for some reason, they're still stuck together. Alright, so I'm putting those up here. Then I'm using, this time I'm using the Fancy Everything sequins. No, I'm not. I'm going to show you those on the other one. This time I'm using the Sparkle and Shine sequins. So the card or tag designer used adhesive backed seasonal sequins, but I don't have those, and I'm really sad that I don't have those. I think I need them, but I don't have them, so I'm making do with what I have, because that's the great thing about being crafty, is you can use what you've got. Alright, I really want to be using the other end. So let me switch this over. So what I've done is ahead of time, I used my handy dandy liquid glue, and I made little bitty dots of glue on my silicone sheet here. And then I used my Take Your Pick tool, because it's handy also, to pick up these individual sequins and put them on the glue, and I just let them sit for a little bit. So now everything is nice and dry, and I can just pick it up at the other end of my Take Your Pick tool and place them right here on my card. Actually, for this one, I'm going to use that end. That way I can slide it under. There we go. And that one there. For the baker's twine, I have Sweet Sorbet from the 2022 to 2024 in color baker's twine assortment. Okay, so what you want is 12 to 14 inches of the Sweet Sorbet in color twine. It's from the 2022 to 2024 in Color Twine assortment. So I'm putting it through just like that. And then I'm just going to tie a bow real quick. And if you keep it nice and long, then you can untie and retie this bow to put your gift card in and then seal it back up. And you already have your string there. Okay, I'm going to make that a little bit smaller. Look. Oops. Here's the one from the catalog. Here's the other one. And then I was going to show you that final tag that I made earlier. Again, this one is straight out of the catalog. So this is a great one to use up scraps of cardstock. I went ahead and used the same cardstock that was used in the catalog. So this is Petal Pink, Poppy Parade, Calypso Coral, Soft Succulent, Old Olive, and Pool Party. I stamped the sentiment with the Soft Succulent on a scrap of basic white cardstock and just cut out the word with. And then I used Real Red to stamp it on another piece of basic white cardstock. And I used the banner die to cut out love. This is the frayed ribbon, again from the annual catalog, I believe. And I just really, this is what it looks like. And what I did was I cut off one side of it and then just pulled all the strips out and made this big messy bow with it. And then the sequins, like I said earlier, these are from Fancy Everything Sequins. I chose to use the pink assortment. And I did like I did with that last tag, and I just put it on my silicone sheet with the liquid glue and then picked it up and put it on this card. And everything is glued together with liquid glue except for this banner. The banner I have used a Stampin' Dimensional cut in half. I limited myself to one dimensional. Cut it in half and stuck the banner right there. And again, this one is a pocket, so you can put your little gift card or even some folded up cash right inside there before you tie your bow. So I think this one is gorgeous and can be used for so many things. And like I said, you can change up those colors really easily. Thank you so much for watching my video. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day. If you liked it, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And want to see more, then go ahead and hit that button down below. I'd appreciate that. And I hope to have you back here on Friday whenever I share some things that I've made with this card set that I created on my own without the catalog. Alright, y'all, have a great week. Happy stamping.